In the last version of this video, I showed off 9 new skateboard technologies that were on the horizon. Since then, I got tips from you guys and I found a few more myself. So here are 9 more emerging skateboard technologies, including a Fitbit for your skateboard. All of these items are linked to in the description with time codes so you can skip around if you'd like. Let's get started. First is another carbon fiber deck company called Kape out of Austria. Now their site isn't in English, but it looks like they're making their boards out of 4 plies of carbon fiber at stress points. Then they finish it off with Canadian maple, and a first in decks like this that I've seen, bamboo. The decks are €80 shipped in Austria. Probably a lot more if you want to get one in the States. Kape has told me that they're working on an English site, so it might get a little easier for Americans to buy one in the future. But for now, there's always Chrome Auto Translate. Speaking of decks, Plan B has some new old technology called Black Ice. It's the latest attempt at making slick decks for better slides. Back when I was a kid, these were a thing, but they never got popular because the coating would just rub off. The idea behind slick decks makes a lot of sense though. Make the deck itself slippery so that you're less reliant on how waxy the ledge is. You don't have to be as worried about dry spots or the deck biting in right as you land. So Plan B has been testing these for a couple of years, and they're finally available now. And one of those testers is Tori Pudwill, who does nothing but the most insane slide tricks, so that adds some credibility to it. I haven't found any mention of what the slick layer is actually made of, but they also claim that it makes the deck stronger and hold its pop longer. They go for 65 bucks. Have any of you tried these yet? Next is Servant Footwear's Dagon shoe. It has a vegan microfiber upper with their foreskin technology, which is an interesting name. This is really cool. They're known for being very durable and comfortable, supposedly 4 times stronger than suede. Richie Jackson is on their team, so you know they're pretty legit. I'm not a huge fan of the cross iconography myself, but the technology is really cool. And let's talk about Oust Bearings. I considered mentioning them in the last video, but these products are about 10 years old by now. A few people mentioned them, and to be fair, it's still cutting edge because nobody has really caught up yet. The interesting thing about Oust is that they don't use ABEC ratings. Their bearings are rated Mach, M-O-C, Mach 5, Mach 7, and Mach 9. And if you think about the ABEC system, it's really irrelevant for skateboarding anyway. It basically only measures how perfectly round the ball bearings are. Imperfections in shape can cause problems in high-end machinery running at 30,000 RPM, but think about street skating. What's the fastest you'll ever go? 20 miles an hour? 25 down a hill? 30,000 RPM with a 54mm skate wheel is 380 miles per hour, or about half the speed of sound. So Oust isn't as concerned with the roundness and more concerned with the unique needs of skateboarding, like the impact. Think back to the bearing in the spinning machinery, it just sits stationary all day. But your skateboard bearings face shearing force from power slides and blunt slides and crooked grinds and things like that. You can check out their site for more information about how they overcome these things with their shields and cages and all that technical stuff. There is another bearing company out there too called Shiver. These have gotten semi-popular because they're sold bundled with the Shark wheels, and they claim that they spin freely for 2 minutes straight. They're very cheap, but their claim to fame is that they use NASA lubricant. So just like Oust, they agree that the ABEC rating isn't that important, but they claim that it's all about the lubricant. So I looked into it. The lubricant company that they use is called Pro One. I wasn't able to find any evidence of them working with NASA, but even if they do, what does NASA use it for? A robot driving around on Mars, or the hinges to the doors in the bathroom? I don't know. But here's what they claim. Their lubricant reduces heat and friction and has over 50 times the film strength of conventional lubricants. That's actually kind of cool. Now, if this lubricant company partnered with Oust, I think we'd have something awesome. By the way, Shark wheels, they're coming out with a street wheel in February. Haven't seen any pictures of them yet, don't know what they'll look like or how they'll perform, but we'll see how that turns out. Next is Obliged non-abrasive grip tape. This is a very small company who only sells through their Etsy store. Their site and Instagram are very light on information, but I might be able to explain how this works. Do you remember the classic tech deck fingerboards? They had skateboard style abrasive grip tape on it. But any kind of higher end fingerboard would come with stuff like this. It's soft foam and it works because you sink into it slightly. So you're fighting the decompression as you slide, and that's what provides the grip instead of the abrasion. Obliged seems to be a scaled up version of this for skateboards, which they sell for $22 a sheet. Sounds like a lot, but it is easier on your shoes, which could save you money. There aren't a lot of reviews and information out there right now, but I think the idea could work really well. Now, a dirty secret about the fingerboard grip is that a lot of it is just a certain kind of gasket from Home Depot that someone cut up and started reselling. The skateboard stuff is a lot thicker, so maybe it's custom manufactured, or maybe it's just repurposed materials from something else. I don't know, but I'd be interested in trying it. That is, of course, assuming that they overcame the other issue with the fingerboard version, which is that it chips off pretty easily. Someone else mentioned SkaterTrainers 2. When I first started skating, I learned my first handful of tricks completely stationary. Had my back wheels on the sidewalk and my front wheels in the grass. It's a good way to get over balance issues and be able to focus on trick mechanics. There have been several attempts at monetizing this, like soft trucks, which you mount on your board in place of your trucks that look and feel like a regular board that just can't roll or turn. But the newest take on these is the SkaterTrainers. They clip right over your wheels and make them square and unable to roll. You may have seen the commercials for these on YouTube before. In theory, they're better than soft trucks because it's a completely normal skateboard, so the feel is the same, and it's better than being on just the grass because you're on completely level ground instead of having your front truck sunk into the dirt. Is it worth $25? Maybe if you're struggling. You need to get off of the stationary crutch as soon as you can. Think about a 360 flip. If you learn it stationary, you've mastered the technique for doing something in between a regular tray and a fakie one. I think after you've got ollies, shove-its, and kickflips, it's time to just start doing everything rolling. But if you've got SkaterTrainers, it might be too tempting to not move on. So they might give you a nice head start, but then hold you back in the long run. Another person suggested Trick Trucks by Paul Felty. I looked them up, and all you can see online is this video by the guy showing them off. The idea is that the truck has no axle nut, and you can pull a little lever to pop off the wheels quickly. Now, I don't know anybody who frequently swaps out wheels, but I've had plenty of trucks where the axle got stripped and it's really hard to get the nut back on. So it would be nice to eliminate this problem, but this blurry 8-year-old video doesn't really show much detail in how they work. Hopefully these days with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, these could make a reappearance and then potentially hit the market, or maybe just inspire someone else to do something similar. As I researched these trucks, I happened to run into this patent application. This is another quick release wheel setup, but look at that wheel. I really want to try that. I think they could open up some interesting options for freestyle tricks. Now, this patent was published in 2014, and I'd be shocked if it ever came out, but you never really know. Okay, so the last thing is the RideBlock. It clips onto your board and it tracks all the tricks that you do, which allows you to play skate with a friend from anywhere in the world. It's pretty small, and I can't see it getting in the way unless you do really tweaked out rock and rolls. Here's what the app looks like. So you just did a heel flip and you pull up the screen. It will tell you the height, air time, speed, and pop force in newtons. This is pretty cool. Maybe you can monitor your pop force versus your height and figure out if you're catching too early. I guess if you start training for the Olympics, having this kind of data could be helpful. The app will assign a score to your trick and you can share it on social media. There also seems to be a scoreboard for spots. So if you have the highest score at the skate park, everyone will know it, assuming they have the app, of course. There could be a few issues with this, I can imagine. First, how does it track rotations? If you do a backside flip, does it think it's a varial flip, even if you catch it pretty early and finish off the rotation? how sophisticated is that motion recognition? If it messes up a single rotation trick, suddenly the stance of all the other tricks in the line is wrong. In the same vein, I could do a no-comply big spin flip, which is a really easy trick, and get credit for a laser flip. And what tricks does it even know? Can it track late flips? What about grinds, bonuses? Abba one of the co-founders, claims it's 90% accurate. I don't know if that's enough. And you know what's 100% accurate? Shooting video. Just drop a tripod down at the spot and you won't have any errors. But one cool feature is video syncing. You can shoot video of the trick and then overlay your RideBlock stats on it. So I guess the idea of this device is that you and your friends can compete to see who can do a trick best. So instead of playing skate, you try to just do the best kickflip. The app would give you some numbers to help you decide, but it can't track style. Maybe this guy did the trick a quarter of an inch higher, but this guy caught it a lot better. It also has some cool social aspects though. You can log what your board is and people can follow you, presumably seeing live stats when you're skating. It would be cool to watch like Joey Brzezinski and see how many attempts it took to land a nose manual nollie flip. Of course, it's just text on a screen and not actually video. What do you think about the RideBlock or anything else featured in the video? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for checking out my video. If you liked what you saw, subscribe for more fresh skateboarding content every single Tuesday. Here are a couple more videos that you might like.